Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. My name is Yakaba from Plaintables Camp. And this lesson is, I was in a, but watching a podcast, and one of the comments said, Weimer conditions call for extreme accountability. I saw it in the chat. I said, oh shit, let me write that down because I'll forget. I said, do lesson on economy crashing. So I have two videos here. Sam Zell, I don't know who this person is. Must be an economist or something like that. I know Wells Fargo has an app called a money app to transfer money back and forth between bank accounts called Zelle. Maybe that's the correlation. I'm not sure. It says, this is the Weimer Republic. I think that's how you pronounce it. And let's see what the Weimer Republic is first. Let's go to 1923 hyperinflation. This is from the YouTube channel a long time ago. January 9th, 2022. Let's listen in what hyperinflation is.
Like crazy. 1923. Hyperinflation. When prices rise, this is known as inflation. This means that people need more money to be able to buy the things they need. However, in Germany, government decisions are only making the inflation they are experiencing worse. The problem the government are facing is that between 1919 and 1923, their revenue is only a quarter of what they need. They need money to be able to pay their debts, but unemployment and failing factories mean that they're getting less tax money. Therefore, the government resort to printing more money. In 1923, the government has 300 paper mills and 2,000 printing shops dedicated to printing more banknotes. Initially, this makes it easier to pay reparations. However, overall, this only makes the inflation worse.
Yeah, so now it's, I don't think they print like physical, it's just digital. So things cost more.
It creates a spiral where the more prices rise, the more money gets printed.
And our paycheck isn't even going up. So, yeah. Certain jobs, they do have the pay increases, but some jobs don't. So you can say there's a certain pay increase, so we're getting more money. But I can't even quantify if that's even true or not. But you're supposed to be getting more money, but the prices are higher also. So the Weimer Republic, they were getting more money, and the prices were higher. So this is why that's the correlation. All right. They were got the minimum wage $15 an hour. I don't know what it is now. They were trying to raise. Well, that's just a disguise because the everything costs more. So that's the correlation between the Weimer Republic and what's going on in America, really around the world. All right. You're getting more money, but everything costs more. All right. And again, I can't even quantify. Did everybody's paycheck actually go up? Well, I can say, yeah, from like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, I think the pay has risen. And definitely rents have gone up since, let's say, 15 years ago. So I believe most people are getting paid more, and the prices have gone up.
And the more money gets printed, the more prices rise. By 1923, prices are huge. A loaf of bread, which would have cost 1 mark in 1919, costs 100 marks in 1922, and by 1923 costs 200 billion marks. This extreme form of inflation is known as hyperinflation. Normal living in Germany becomes impossible. People had to carry bundles of money in baskets and even wheelbarrows. Many workers are getting paid twice a day so they can rush out to the shops to buy goods before prices.
Yeah, so that's the correlation. Their paycheck went up, but everything, the prices went up with it. So I believe there's a point in which the prices exceed how much you're getting paid and what money is available on the market, and that's when I guess the whole system crashes. I'm not no economist expert, but that what was happening, because they were definitely getting paid more. All right, but everything costs, it's a 200 billion mark to 2 billion marks for a loaf of bread. So they had the cash available.
Right? Many workers are getting paid twice a day so they can rush out to the shops to buy goods before prices rise again. Some shops are even refusing to take money at all and are going for a system of swapping things. Imports dry up because German.
That's a good point. So when you get a raise on your money, your paycheck, don't be disguised by that. If everything costs more, like in Delaware, like you'll see prices will be the same as Pennsylvania, and it's supposed to be no tax. So what the hell are the prices so high for? Because they're purposely inflating the price. This is all controlled. I don't think any of this shit is natural. So they purposely raise the prices in no tax states to get more money. This system is totally being manipulated. And gas in Jersey, gas in Jersey is supposed to be cheap because they pump the gas for you. And gas in Delaware is supposed to be cheap because there's allegedly no tax.
German marks become worthless against other currencies, and so foreign suppliers start refusing to accept German marks. People who have savings, such as in bank accounts or pensions, watch them become worthless. This means the middle classes are the hardest hit, as they are the most likely to have savings stored in such a way. There are, however, some people who benefit. People with loans find that the value of the money they owe back has gone down massively. Other people hoard goods and then sell them for a big profit as prices go up. Foreign visitors also benefit, as the value of their own currency goes up against the German mark, so they can buy much more with their money. Unsurprisingly, the Germans heavily resent those who profit from their suffering. After August 1923, the new Chancellor, Gustav Stresemann, is able to find a solution to hyperinflation, which you can find out about how he did this in the video about him, which I shall link in the corner, called Stresemann's Strategy. However, by this point the damage to the Republic has been done, and in combination with other recent events, they have been shown to be weak. The German people have all suffered, and most people blame the Weimar Republic for their suffering, even the middle classes who would normally be the bedrock of the Republic. The moderates are losing strength. 1923, hyperinflation. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to.
Alright, so this is Stresemann's strategy. So it's backed by gold. So this is Stresemann's strategy, how he got control over hyperinflation. He basically introduced a new currency. So I see the correlation is they're going to introduce a new currency, the central bank digital currency. So but his is backed by gold. All right, so this is his strategy to get control, eliminate hyperinflation.
First step in Stresemann's strategy is bringing an end to hyperinflation, which he does through the establishment of the Rentenmark. In November 1923, he sets up a new, state-owned bank, the Rentenbank. This bank issues a new currency, the Rentenmark. The supply of this new currency is strictly limited, and its value is tied to the price of gold.
This is the thing. I think this is all planned. People say, why wasn't there Weimer tied to gold? See, this is a damn big game. And the Weimer wasn't backed by industrialists. Like, they're planning these collapses. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I mean, if it's backed by gold, what currency backed by gold failed? I don't know. I don't believe any. So why wasn't a Weimer backed by gold? and backed by industrious. But remember, the industry failed. So now industry all of a sudden is not failing when this new currency comes in.
Furthermore, the Rentenmark is backed by German industrial plants and agricultural land, meaning the currency has real value. In August 1924,
I guess the Weimer didn't have real value. It wasn't backed by gold. I mean, let me see something. Weimer. This is stupid. Was the Weimer backed by gold? Background inflation during the First World War to pay for the large loss of ongoing First World War. Germany suspended the gold standard, the convertibility of its currency to gold, when the war broke out in 1914. My great-grandfather was born in 1919. I remember that. That date was a few years after the World War One. Oh, so there we go. So you suspend the gold standard. So that's why it failed. Well, that's part of the reason why it failed. All right. Weimer was not backed by gold. So this new currency they bring in, they're going to back it with trust. Right? It's all about trust, and everybody's going to agree. So if everybody agrees on the new currency, they all trust it, then the currency will do well. But when people stop trusting it, that's when it will fail. So a few more minutes of this, and then we're going to go to the Zell.
the control of the Rentenmark is given to the Reichsbank, a newly independent national bank. The currency is renamed the Reichsmark and is backed by Germany's gold reserves. Finally, the German people can trust German money again, and hyperinflation is brought to an end. This makes way for Stresemann's next work, the Dawes Plan. In April 1924, Stresemann agrees to the Dawes Plan. The plan has come about as the Allies have asked an American banker, Charles G. Dawes, to resolve Germany's non-payment of reparations. The plan involves temporarily reducing reparations to £50 million per year. US banks are to give huge loans to German industry. Between 1924 and 1930, these loans amount to $25 billion. Moreover, Stresemann calls off passive resistance to the French occupation of the...
Alright, I think we got enough value out of that. Let's go to Sam Zell. This is the Weimer Republic.
What did you make of it? Where is the Fed headed, do you think? Where should it be headed, given what we're seeing in inflation right now?
To be honest with you, I don't know. And it's very obvious, neither do they. We're in this mess because the Fed didn't do their job over the last 3 years. I mean, when you think about, we added, $7 trillion to our debt in 3 years. This is the Weimar Republic. And if the United States isn't careful, they're going to find themselves in the Weimar Republic.
Well, what about that point specifically? Because the Biden administration, their budget came out, and nobody believes that budget's actually going to get implemented, but it's at least directional where they think they're going. They were going up to something like 110% of GDP in debt, higher than what we had in World War II. They're adding like $17 trillion to the debt over time. At what point does this become not a problem, but a crisis for the United States?
When people don't want to buy our debt. When
people don't want to buy our debt, so trust. So if they're not a valuable business partner, that's when suffering starts. That's when the money is going to start to not be worth anything. It's based upon trust. Really, the root of it is trust. And whether it's backed by gold or not, it's if the nations aren't using your currency, then they're not going to respect your current. They're not going to respect your currency. They're not going to trade with you. So, what Zell is saying that we're moving into that point. This gold standard has been suspended, and if people don't buy America's debt, and we move off the oil, gold, the oil being the petrodollar, the American dollar being the world reserve currency, then we're going to suffer. So, all the nations have to agree on a CBDC. Because if everybody doesn't agree, if just America just does it, America's going to fail. So all the nations have to do it. Because it's a world economy we live in. We all have to trust each other's currency. So if we don't trust each other's currency, we can't trade with each other. All right. That's why we have to have the CBDC. Everybody has to agree on that system of CBDC, and it has to be whether it's stable or unstable. They all have to agree on it. They all has to have a perceived value, so they can trade with each other. But eventually, it's going to end into a world's war, and America's going to be burnt with fire.
Faced with the prospect of losing the U.S. dollar as a currency, as an international currency, and if we lose the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency, we're looking at 20 to 25% reduction in our standard of living. If that was included in the definition of the U.S. debt, maybe you'd get some attention. But the reality is that the Biden administration and Powell have gotten away with not doing anything other than continuing to inflate the bubble. And I think it's very, very dangerous.
Whatever else you think, it looks like we're coming close to the end of free money. We're basically pushing money into the system across the board. Certain Jay Powell is tightening the screws. You complained about free money. You thought it was a bad thing for investors.
Terrible thing.
If it's ending, what do you get to do? What does that allow Sam Zell to do that he didn't do before?
First of all, your assumption that it's ending is a little naive. I mean, we look at it in the real estate arena, where municipalities are, deferring the ability to foreclose or get people out of a house or get people out of an apartment. And every time the strategy leads to a decision, there's a deferral. And we'll wait another 3 months. We'll wait another 6 months. And so we're talking about ending free money, but we're not ending free money. And or we're ending it at a much slower pace than ought to be called for. So I'm not sure that the assumption that free money is over. And I think we've got some serious problems. I mean, we've got the classic problems that we've always had, which is if you keep feeding them free money, they get used to it. And then they say, well, where's my free money? And, look what's happened to the housing market. In a matter of, 60 days, the monthly payment has doubled. These are extraordinary times, and I'm not sure we have the leadership, either in Powell or Biden, to basically deal with that.
My money doubled. I think he probably means the mortgages. If they were like you're paying $1,000 a month for a mortgage, now it's $2,000 a month if you go get a mortgage. So the banks want their money back faster because something's wrong. All right, so suffering. You go to 2nd Ezra, 16th chapter. It tells you about how we are going to suffer, and if we are the elect, we'll be spared from the things that are going to lead to death. Yahushua Ratazah. But we're going to suffer, and we're going to have divine intervention to keep his back from the famine and from the sword. This is 16, 2nd Ezra 16 and 32. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel through. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Yeah, so women are definitely going to suffer a lot when the system is, converting to the new system, or the new system fails, because it's not really explicit where it says that is a new system going to come in and fail, or are we going to, or the current system going to fail, and then we're going to go to the new system? I don't know. But what we do know is that it's going to be mass suffering because of inflation, hyperinflation. All right. Now it says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So there's going to be we're not going to be living in a time where everything's going to be okay. You're going to be able to go to Walmart, Target, your Giants, and Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's, Acme's, ShopRites, and all that. This is what's prophesied. All right, it prophesies a famine, hyperinflation, women in mourning because they don't have no men. All right, so this just totally cuts this independent woman thing right there. All right. Says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. All right, so you have false prophets out there that are saying everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. No, it's not. If you don't have protection from on high, you're going to be caught up in the famine. You're going to be caught up being destroyed with the sword. All right. Let me go to 15th chapter. 2nd Ezra 15 to 16. It says, 2nd Ezra 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. I'll call it the Mad Max martial law troops. The original Mad Max, and the new one's pretty good too. All right, just watch that movie. And there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. Or watch the clips on YouTube. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And you ain't gonna get justice for murders. All right, or kidnappings. You're not gonna get justice. It's gonna stand. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. They're gonna have roadblocks. Bridges are gonna be destroyed or cut off, barricaded, to keep the zombies out, which are the people that are hungry. All right. And women are going to turn to mass prostitution, which they already are doing that. It's going to increase by like 100-fold, just so they can eat, just so they can have clean water to wipe their ass. I get water from a well, and the circuit breaker that pumps the water out the ground is malfunctioning. Every time I jump the circuit, not jump it, clicking on and off, I'm seeing arcing in the back, like this glowing light. Like I gotta stop messing with it. So an electrician got to come out and replace the circuit breaker or the wiring. I think the pump is drawing too much power, so somebody fucked up the wiring when I moved in here. So they're taking care of that today. All right, but imagine going 2 days without getting water from your well. Imagine a woman going 2 days not getting water from a well. I'm a man. I can survive it for a time. Luckily, I have water already in bottles. You know, so I can get by. But imagine a woman not having clean water. She's gonna look and smell like absolute shit. The longer these days stretch out when you don't get services. You know, when you don't get clean water coming in and wastewater going out, you start to suffer. All right. And man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. Yeah, who the hell knows if utility's going to work when this day comes? Clean water coming in, wastewater going out, electricity coming in, resupplying of stores. What's going to happen is they're going to have long lines. I've seen the vision already. I was in the line and I got out the line. There are going to be long lines the people are going to be in to get food and clean water and toothpaste and, probably filled with fucking fluoride. Hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, or rubbing alcohol, Band-Aids, first aid, canned goods. They're going to be in these damn long ass lines, and your ass going to have to get chipped to get those services. Because they got to stabilize the hyperinflation or stabilize whatever's going on, So, for because of their pride, the 18th verse, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. Now, it makes sense, I speak, as a man, that we'll have the hyperinflation, and you could say maybe the CBDCs, central bank digital currency, might stabilize it. All right, that may happen. All right, they're bringing the CBDCs in slow. All right, or that could be the thing that could destroy the system, that lead to the Third World War. We'll see. If you know more than me, just put it in the comments. Let me know. All right, I'm not an economist, but I do know the prophecies say that we're going to have the hyperinflation. They'll say in Revelation says a day's wage for a penny. It's going to cost you a day's wage just to eat, if I'm not mistaken. All right. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. All right, so that's I don't see no independence in that. And the on the women's end, Weimer conditions call for extreme accountability. All right, lesson on economy crashing. All right, so you being rogue, you being by yourself. Yeah, you better. The only thing that's gonna save you, that's the Spirit of the Lord. That's for all of us. All right, let me get that precept. All right, here, hyperinflation, Revelation 6:6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." All right, so the elect are gonna be okay through this hyperinflation. And you look up a measure of wheat for a penny. I don't know what's a measure. Sending coyote less than a quart, or 1 liter, or as much as would support a man's moderate appetite for a day. Ooh. All right there. So food for a day. We got G1220. Denarion. Food for a day, or measure for a day. And this is a pay for a day. So the pay for a day took care of the food for a day. Hyperinflation. So you get $100 or $200 a day. Between $100 and $200 a day. All right. That's going to be your food for the day. It says a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name of being equal to 10 asses. Number after 217 BC increased to 16 So more inflation. Okay, 10 asses. Then 217 BC. Increased to 16 asses. All right. The gram was 3.8 grams. It was a principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So it's not 10. It's 16 asses. So the value went down. 16 asses. All right, pay for a day. Let's go back to the measure containing 4. Okay. A quart, less than 1 quart, 1 liter, or as much as would support a man of moderate appetite for a day. All right, so that's your inflation. Hope you can see that. All right, the measure is wheat. It says a measure. So your food for the day will cost a day's wage. All right. So we definitely need help from on high. It's pride. You can do it by yourself. No, you're going to need divine intervention. You're going to need to be in order. All right. Scripture say, my servants shall eat, but ye shall hunger. Let's say, shall eat. It's in Isaiah. Shall eat. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth the Lord take care for oxen? And though he said it for our sakes. It's for our sakes indeed. Eat. Uriah, David set him up, get killed. This is butter and honey. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil, choose the good. See how it shall. Isaiah 4:1. Oh. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And we're going to supply them the food through the Spirit. All right, because the women can't get their own food. And they're going to cook and maintain whatever area we have, whether it be we be in a damn forest or in a house. So we know we're going to have force fields protecting us. Like the field, the Spirit was protecting, Lot and his children, and his wife looked back. So she wasn't of the elect, but him and his children were. All right, so 7 women during the time of hyperinflation, it's going to be nothing. They're going to be chasing you down. You're gonna approach these women and they're going to approach you like Elijah did to Elisha. You're going to come directly to Elisha and deputize him as his emissary, his helper. And you're going to get trained up on the ways of what the Lord want him to do. And the women are going to be in order when this inflation gets to the point where things cost more. We maybe be getting paid more, and it gets to a point where they got to bring in a new system to replace the old system because it's not backed by gold. They got to bring in a CBDC to stabilize the currency, and it's going to be via the implantable microchip. And it's going to be a lot of suffering. All right, before, during, after. All right. Whenever the suffering starts, we have to be, right with the Lord, right with the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, so we can be defended. All right, so on that day, women, they're going to be just completely in subjection. All right, completely. So let's get the what did my servant shall eat. Isaiah 65:11. But ye are they that forsake Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and furnish a drink offering for that number. And you got sellouts among our nation that have sold their soul to Satan. All right. And they don't care about the law and order. They're doing their own thing, and they're siding with Satan, with the devil. Therefore, I will number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. That is scary. All right. So it's going to be a lot of suffering in Israel. I hope I'm not on the side of that suffering. All right. Starving is a famine, and not having access to clean water. I think my water just came back on. Hearing the jet pump. So they fixing the pump that pumps the water up from the well. Just heard the toilet just start hearing that pumping sound. So that was within 2 hours. Okay. Now, what would I have done if the pump didn't come back on? Well, I would have just had to hit the hot spots with the water I got, in the fridge. Yeah, and do what I can, and then go out for work. So, and when things like that happen, weak people are going to just go take the chip. Now, if you want to be part of the system, they're just going to go take the chip. Not everybody has the strength that we have. We're weak, but the strength we have, we're not going to cross a certain line. All right. Yahweh Shai Ratazah. We're not going to go get that RFID implant microchip for clean water and food. Yahweh Shai Ratazah. That we had the strength to resist that day. In that day. So what the scriptures tell you that and of course they don't, we're just speaking these words, empty words to most of these people. They don't believe these things are going to come to pass. They don't believe America's ever going to fall. America, Babylon. All right. But mark our words that these things are going to come to pass. All right. That there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But before the fire, they're going to weep, howl, screaming, running, getting tricked. The same guy they think that's the tough guy with the pants hanging off his ass. All right, they're going to run to him, and y'all both going to get destroyed. Y'all both going to end up chaining him to a damn basement, to a damn deboiler pipe. And the Mad Max martial law troops going to do what they want with you. All right, what's that movie? You got Mad Max. You got I think that's the name of the proper name of the movie. You got Fury Road, the new one. Waterworld. It's old, these 90s movies or late 80s. What's that other movie? The Road. What's that movie? Pulp Fiction. He smacked the Ving Rams on the back of the head, and he tied him up and put him in that basement. And that dude from The Mask, Dorian Tyrell, he was a cop, did what he wanted with him. That's what's going to come to pass to whom the Israelites and other people in general who don't have the Spirit of the Lord protecting them in that day. All right, so I'll leave that there. All right, you learned, hope you learned something. All right, hope you edified. Shalom.